everybody, welcome back to the channel off the underside. Hope we're all good. We've got another very exciting guest tonight. Former Kilmarnock St Johnstone Dumbarton player, Frazer Wright. How you doing, sir?
I'm all good, thank you. How are you?
Aye, all good, mate. Thanks very much for coming on. Really do appreciate it, man. I know you're a busy man, so really appreciate your time, Frazer. Thank you.
Aye, no worries.
On this channel, mate, we like to go back to the very start. You were born in Scotland, East Kilbride, it says here. What's your earliest memories of playing football, mate?
Just a local boys team. I think probably about end of primary school, start of secondary school, and playing with the local schools and local teams. Then when I was younger, I was into a bit of everything: running, swimming, golf. But football kind of led the way, and I left school at 17. Didn't have a clue what I was going to do, and my headmaster phoned me, said I've got you a trial with St Mirren. Went in there and ended up signing for the under-18s at St Mirren for a year. And then from there I went to Stranraer.
Like you said, you moved to Stranraer and you spent a good few years there. What do you remember most about those days? And how did that shape you as a player and a person?
Aye, it's the bus journeys, what you remember most about Stranraer. 7 years up and down that road takes its toll on you, but when I signed for Stranraer, they were in the old First Division. My very first game for Stranraer was away to Hibs, and we beat them 2-1. And then we get relegated
Aye.
away to
Sorry.
Hibs. Aye, away to Hibs, and we won 2-1. And then we get relegated again, and then when Neil Watt and Stuart Miller came into Stranraer, we got 2 promotions in a row, and then I left after that, went full time.
How was your time at Stranraer, though? Did you enjoy it there, mate? Aye.
Oh, it was brilliant. See the amount of guys you met over the years and how different everyone was, and because it was part time as well, it was everyone's come for different jobs and things. But like the last 2 years at Stranraer, I think were probably the most I've ever enjoyed my football, because it was just the bunch of boys we had there and the success we had, that like we're all still talk to each other now. I was at one of the boys' 50th birthday parties a couple of weeks ago, so that bond we've got for that last Stranraer team is just brilliant.
What was the dressing room like being in a part-time club? Was it more, don't know that's how we word this, but more energetic than you would say like a professional one? Like more lively?
Aye, it was definitely more banter, more stories in the part-time one than you get in the full-time one. Sometimes it's hard though when the boys are turning up on like a Tuesday night after you've finished work and everyone's a bit tired and to get out, so it's maybe not as energetic that way, but it's just you've always got the bubbly characters there that will gee everyone up and get everyone going, and it was just brilliant times.
Were you always confident, mate? Sorry, David.
You said you were successful in the last couple of years at Stranraer. Did anybody else get a chance to go professional like yourself?
Aye, there was a couple of boys. David Graham went to Gretna, and Alan Jenkins went to Gretna as well. Kevin Finlayson went to Morton. So it was about maybe 3 or 4 of us got full-time moves out of that team.
Were you always confident, mate, when you were playing for Stranraer that you were going to make that step up?
No. When I played for Stranraer, I worked for Dixons, remember, on a Gale Street. I was a stockroom manager in there. But because of the football, I was like, I'm not going to make a decent career. I need to get myself a trade. And I was getting married that final year I was at Stranraer, and my father-in-law was a mechanic, and he said to me, come in, you can learn a trade, be a mechanic. So I left Dixons in the November to become a mechanic, lasted there 6 months, and then I got to move full-time. So it just shows you how things can change like that. I was 24. Sorry, I need to get myself a proper job, a trade, something. And then I got the phone call about the move.
You did, like you said, you moved to Kilmarnock, a really competitive era in the Scottish football. What were your first impressions from the step up from Stranraer?
The biggest thing was the fitness. The fitness was horrible. I signed for Kilmarnock, and Jim Jefferies always took you to a place, Choco in Italy. I think Rangers used to go there. I think when you see Mo Johnson signing for Rangers on the helicopter coming in, that was Choco, and that was just 10 days of hell. It was the worst thing ever. But thanks to that, though, you get your fitness, and then you eventually get there. But the biggest step up for me was definitely the fitness side of it.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of guys kind of crumble, mate, at that point. You know, you go into a big club like that, and especially making that step up in that. How did you fare as soon as you went in? Were you confident at that point, or were you still really nervous?
Oh no, I was really nervous. I'd gone for the final 2 years, like I said, at Stranraer, was basically that was my mates, and we were doing well. And then I was going into training against Boydie and Nazy, and things like that, and my legs were always sore. Everything was always aching because I wasn't fit enough, and I had to get fit. It took me about 3 or 4 months to get the fitness to the level that was required before I could even play in the team. And Jim Jefferies even pulled me and told me I had a month to lose a stone, or I was getting fined a week's wages.
I was going to ask, what was Jim Jefferies like as a manager? Was he like, everyone's got a certain picture of him? Was he as mad as that picture? Was he a wee bit more cool and calm?
No, he was old school. He gave a bollocking, no bother at all. But at the same time, after he's given you the bollocking, it's done and dusted. It's forgotten. He didn't hold grudges. We played Rangers, I think, on a Saturday, and he blamed me for one of the goals, and he stood and he shouted at me. It felt for an hour, but it might have just been about 10 minutes. And then we were playing Celtic on the Tuesday night, so we were in the Sunday training. Walked in the morning, and he just said to me, "That's forgotten about yesterday. You'll be starting on Tuesday, so get it out of your head." So you just had to sit there and take it, I suppose, from him.
It's see that you're saying like Jim Jefferies is an old school manager. Do you think that's missing in today's game? Like you kind of need that wee bit of a bollocking instead of kind of tiptoeing round the players.
Aye, definitely. Yeah, I mean, when I started at Stranraer, Campbell Money was the manager, and I think I played a reserve game. He wasn't happy, and he was giving me a bollocking, and I didn't look at him. I was a young 18-year-old boy, and my head was down. I didn't look, and he's like, "Next time, look at me." And I was like, right. And for that day, if I was any manager, then if you're giving me it, I'm staring you in the eye, I'll take it, and then we'll move on. And nowadays, you can't really shout at anyone, you can't say anything, you can't do anything. And I think that's what's missing in the game a wee bit now, is just that ability to shout at them, because they just don't. I feel like they'll go in their shell and they'll cry, or they'll have a moan, or they'll phone their agent, and just take it and move on.
How was Boydie? Was Boydie good to play with? Was he some laugh?
Aye, Boydie was good. Boydie was just daft. He was only there. I think I was only there with him for 6 months. I think he went to Rangers in the January after I went. But he was just full of stories, full of madness. Just when I came in, Jim Jefferies told me I'd probably be in the fat school with Boydie, because Boydie always came back overweight. So I didn't change.
You certainly wouldn't get away with that part now, you know, man. A manager coming in going, "You're in the fat school." No chance.
No, aye. No, and there's all the sports scientists and that nowadays. I mean, it was Jim Jefferies and Billy Brown were running you to data that they'd had for over the years, and it was horrible. And to make runs in a certain time that you were never going to do. But nowadays, the sports science is easing away for that.
Can I ask, mate, were you always a centre half? Was it that was for your youth days and that as well? Always been the same?
No, I was a striker. I was a striker up until
Mental amount of people say that, man.
You just walk backwards, innit?
I was a striker right up until I signed for St Mirren at under 18s. And then I wasn't playing. It was actually Frank McGarvey who was taking the under 18s. And one game I played centre half, and just after that was me. I was a centre half and went to Stranraer because of it. Maybe if I was a centre half when I was younger, I might have got a full-time move earlier.
You loved that header on the box as well, mate. Was that always something that you loved? That's obviously maybe for your striking days then. You know what I mean?
I just loved heading the ball. That was what I made a career out of, was just heading the ball. So any opportunity to head it, I was there. And thankfully I got a few headers over my time.
You scored your first goal against Rangers. What do you remember much about that moment? And did you feel like you kind of made it after scoring against one of the big two in Scotland?
Oh, I mean, it's brilliant. I mean, when you've been at Stranraer and you're playing in the smaller crowds too, when like Rangers and Celtic going to Ibrox Parkhead, and when they when they came to Kilmarnock and they got both stands behind the goals, and scoring at Kilmarnock against Rangers, my first goal was into them. It was brilliant. I usually fancied myself for a goal a season, but I hadn't scored the season before. I think that was my second season at Kilmarnock that I got my first goal. So it was good to get off the mark, and against Rangers it was even better.
2007, mate, you scored a few goals as well in the League Cup. We ended up getting to the final. What's your memories of that year?
The League Cup run was really good, but I think we need flirting with relegation, I think, because of it a wee bit as well. I scored 2 in one game in that, and then I think I scored another one. But that season in the League Cup, it was brilliant. It was just a shame we came up against Hibs, that the Hibs team in the final were too good for us, and we got an absolute pumping.
Would you say that? You said that there about how relegation and League Cup. Would you say that does affect teams then? You know, you look at St Mirren, are in the League Cup final this season. Do you think that's going to maybe disrupt the league performance a wee bit?
I think not so much now, just because the final's a lot earlier than it was. I think the final we played was in March, so there was only maybe a couple of months of the season still to go. But it's just it can affect you. I think maybe if you want to make the Scottish Cup final, if you're flirting with relegation, that might have a more of an effect.
How would you describe the club culture at Kilmarnock back then, and what do you think made Rugby Park such a tough place to play at?
I think the culture of the club was good. It was more, you didn't train at Rugby Park back then. We trained at Garscube, the science pitches in Maryhill, and so that might have had a different effect, where you didn't really know the office staff, didn't really know the people at the stadium. You were only there on a Saturday. But the culture in the dressing room was just, there was good old pros there. There was Gary Locke, Alan Johnson, David Lilly, guys like that, Alan Combe, guys that had been about the place, that I think ran the dressing room for the manager and kept everything right. But I think maybe like now with Kilmarnock training at the stadium, because it's the Astro, they're there every day. I think there might be a better atmosphere around the club now.
Yeah, you played football back when it was actually good, mate, to be honest, and no disrespect to like football this day and age, but you know what I mean, you played when it was like proper football and that. Do you feel there's a big change now?
Aye, I couldn't play now. Some of the fouls and some of the things you're getting pulled back for, and kind of fingernail offside and things like that. It's just part of the enjoyment's taken out of the game with VAR and everything. I was at the St Mirren game on Saturday there against Hibs, and I didn't have a clue what was going on. St Mirren had scored twice and didn't have a clue. It might have been the few pints of Guinness and before it, but Aye. Football now is completely different to even 10 years ago when I was finishing up.
It feels like it's slowly becoming a rich man's game as well, because everyone's just ticket prices are getting too dear, and we've spoke about it before in here. Like even kids just trying to hire a pitch, it's a fortune. And it just seems like it's going down that route, and it's a bit disappointing when you think about it.
Aye. I mean, I think the very first game of football I went to was because someone had given a ticket to my dad, and I could go to. It was Rangers. It was Ray Wilkins' last game for Rangers. I couldn't tell you how much a ticket or anything was back there, but nowadays prices of tickets for families to go is just crazy. Even prices of strips. Some
Aye, aye,
about the Scotland strip or something near £100. It's just
Aye, £120. I seen that today.
aye, it's just mental. I mean, football's, even when you're growing up playing it, it's meant to be fun. It's meant to be enjoyable. I don't see kids going to training sessions now enjoying it. I see coaches that have watched too much internet, that have followed these drills that they've seen, and they line them up, and the kids are standing about for 5 minutes, freezing cold, instead of going and having fun and running about and being with your mates. That's what football's about to me.
aye, definitely. That's majority of everybody's memories growing up was just kicking a ball about and with your mates. So you don't even see that anymore. Just when he's kicking about in the street, just a wee
No, you
game on
don't
that.
even see them having a game of Kirby or anything in the
Aye,
street.
no.
Or
They
if
don't
there's
even
a
know
bit
where
of,
that is.
aye,
Aye,
if there's a bit of grass in a house in the state now, there's no ball game signs getting put up, so they can't
it's
play. It's just take. And if they want to play in an AstroTurf, they'll probably get chucked off or jumping the fence or coming in. It's just there's not
aye,
enough for them.
I was thinking
definitely.
about that the other day. What you're saying, man. I wonder if that's like in every country across. Is it like that in England? Do they still need kids playing in the street? And because obviously it's going to affect our game. Going forward in that when there's no Scottish boys coming through. Obviously, we spoke about that as well. Like even at Celtic and Rangers, is it? There's not enough young Scottish boys coming through anymore at any club, really. I think.
No, you don't see it. And even now, the ones when they do come through, down south are taking them.
Aye,
Young boys are getting bought for the youth development down in England. I think St Johnstone have lost a couple. Like, was it Hibs maybe as well? Like, there's boys just getting sold down south before they've even played a first team game, and it's a different world now.
And the thing is, you don't see either of them again. There's only a certain few that actually get down England, make it through the youth and actually play
Aye,
for the team that they've signed for.
aye,
Ben
no.
Doak. That's about it. No, it's just Ben Doak.
Doak,
And
Gilmer.
Gilmer, you can see him, but the
Do
rest
you know
of
what I mean?
them.
McTominay came through the youth at Man United and get made the scapegoat, and that's how he's in Italy.
Aye. Who's the boy at is it Brentford? The
Hickey.
right back. Aye, Hickey. That's what he was playing the other night.
Aye.
He's a
He's
decent
not
enough player, but it's just not enough, man. It's really not. I mean, even Celtic and obviously Celtic Rangers will get the B teams and all that. I mean, I'd be very surprised if any more than one gets in the actual Celtic Rangers team, or even gets a professional contract anywhere these days.
Aye, but see that the Challenge Cup, the league for that Challenge Cup. Every B team's at the bottom of it. They didn't win a
Aye.
game.
it's
This Celtic B team get beat that night off East Kilbride.
But,
I mean, like, how can that
but see
happen?
the boys that were in the B team for Rangers, they've all been loaned out. So it's all the younger ones. So it's like 15, 16, 17 playing against adult teams.
Aye.
I know they say it's good for you, but it's...
Aye. It's good for them to learn that
Aye.
what it'll be like, and then they could probably get loaned out in the next couple of years and experience it more. But it's just when you see the bottom of that league, I think 6 of them were the bottom teams in
Aye.
that Challenge Cup. It just you'd expect better.
And we talked about this as well, how like, the bigger teams in Scotland, they don't like. But obviously, you played at Stranraer, you know what I mean, and you earned your stripes through there, going to Kilmarnock and then St Johnstone, and I'm sure that you would say that the kind of days at Stranraer shaped you. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of young kids now aren't getting an opportunity at these clubs, and they're still not even getting loaned out as well. That's the problem. They need to get loaned out.
Aye.
Aye, they do. But I think that new kind of loan agreement that they've got going, where they can call them back, is helping them get out on loan. But it's not helping the club they're on loan to. And if they need the goalie back, they just bring him back, and that they're not going to play when they come back. And the team that had them are struggling with cover.
I
The
bring them
mo-
back to put them in the bench.
Aye.
It's the money they get offered as well, because it's like, imagine in Stranraer it was like pennies compared to what the boys are getting offered at like Celtic and Rangers are now. So they're kind of set before they even kick the ball, really. Which I think is bananas to me.
Aye, young boys now are probably earning a week what some of the full time guys were earning back when I played,
Aye.
and that's the problem. I think Brendan Rodgers said it, that they just want to walk about with a wash bag, and look like a footballer, and they're not interested in going out
Well,
on loan and playing, and just want to. They make that much money that they don't have to worry about it.
Aye. That's the
I,
life but not play the game type of thing.
I mean, I had the 7 years part time. I knew what it was like to have a job, and I'm back with a job because I need this. So it's just it's a different attitude you've got.
Definitely.
Definitely, man. I bet you were in the Kilmarnock team at the start going, fucking, no going back to Dixons, I'll tell you that.
Oh, definitely.
Aye, mate. So after your time at Kilmarnock, you went to St Johnstone. How did that move come about?
Well, Kilmarnock had offered me a new deal, but I wasn't happy with a couple of things in it that came from the chairman at the time. He was wanting me to not get paid if I was injured, and just a couple of clauses he was putting in. And Mixu, who was the manager at the time, just said, take it or leave it. We need to make a decision. And I said, that's fine. I'll leave it just now, or I'll leave it. And a week later, Mixu left to go to take the Finnish manager's job. I was like, cheers. And my agent had set up a chat with Derek McInnes at St Johnstone, and that went well, and I ended up going there.
Did you expect that? Look, you just mentioned him there, Derek McInnes. Did you expect him to have the managerial career that he has had so far when he was at St Johnstone?
Dale was good. Dale, as soon as you sat down with Dale, it's a good chance you were going to sign for the club. He talked the way he talks. I think you see him talking now. He's very good when he speaks and gets his points across, and you could see what he was building at St Johnstone, and that he did well. That he got his move down to Bristol, and he's done really well since then.
What kind of manager is he when he's frustrated? Does he lose a rag in that as well?
He could do a bit. Tony Dock had a wee bit of a shouting about him as well, but he didn't really lose it too much. He was calm, he was collected, and I think one of my games at the start, I made a mistake with. I think Enkelman was in goals at the time. I'd made a mistake and cost us a goal. Didn't say anything after the game. Just phoned me that night and said, "Don't worry about it. We'll sort these things out." Blah blah blah. And he's a very good manager. He knows how to deal with the situations as they come up.
At your time in St Johnstone, you built a bit of a legendary partnership with Stephen Anderson. What made that partnership work so well?
We got on really well off the pitch. We were good friends. We both hated losing goals. It was just something we hated, and we clicked. I was left footed. You'd say he was right footed, but he could use both, and we just two old fashioned defenders that head the ball, kick the ball, and hate losing goals. And we'd fall out all the time during the games, but we'd make up straight away. It was just like I'd send him a text on the way home saying "love you" and that'd be it. So,
If he used to be a
That's
striker as
exactly
well.
I think he's played everywhere. Even there was one game he absolutely I went to head the ball and he went to kick it, and I busted my face, something rotten. I've got a picture of it. I was just on all fours down the ground with the blood peeing out my nose, and he's finding it funny.
Aye, so
But
that's
that's
just
it though. That's the thing. It's like that's another. I know I hate to go back to like how the modern day and all that, but like that's just passion. Do you know what I mean? You falling out with the guy next to you. Your pals, but the competitiveness is just to me it's not there anymore. There's no guys like yourself and Stephen Anderson that about anymore. There's no many. That's what I think.
I mean, like nowadays, someone will lose a goal. It's like, sorry, that's my fault.
Aye.
And everyone just accepts it.
Right.
No, mate, you're getting a win. You're getting a win bonus. You're getting your appearance money. You're costing us a win bonus. You need to fucking sort it out. But everyone just go, all right. Then they'll come in the dressing room after the game and no say a word. Days at Stranraer, St Johnstone, Kilmarnock. See, if you came in and you'd get beat and you'd made a mistake, you were fighting with boys. But now, I was the assistant at Steny at the end there, and no one cared. They just sat down, accept it. Oh, sorry, that's my fault. Not one of the players dug him up about it.
We had Mikey Doyle, the captain of Cove. Was that Kilmarnock? Did you play with him actually?
Aye, he was a young boy coming through.
Aye. Spoke to him a few months ago, mate, and he was telling a story about how when he came off one game for Cove, and I think they get beat 3-0, and one of the boys was like, "Oh, look, Mikey, look at my stats, and he's like, "I don't give a fuck about your stats. I don't care. You just get beat fucking 3-0. Who cares about all that? You know what I mean?" And that's just a young guy in this day and age, though, isn't it?
Aye, I mean, lucky we didn't have the stats on. Because I don't know what I'd have ran in a game, but it wouldn't have been much. But I'm more interested in distance covered and passes rather than keeping it out the net or scoring a goal. It's just.
I actually seen one today and it says Man City's covered the most ground this season in the Premier League.
They'd be proud
They
of
always
that.
do that, do they not?
But they're sitting second, so does it matter?
Aye.
The only
know what I mean?
stat that matters is the
Aye.
final score at the end of the game. As simple as that, man. People overcomplicate it with XG
XG.
and the covers and all that. Did you win? Did you not? That's it. Simple as
Aye.
that.
That's it.
Aye. But at your time in St Johnstone, you scored a famous goal against Rosenborg in Europe. How special was that night for you personally? And did you realise the historical significance of that goal?
Oh, that night was brilliant. That was our second European trip. We were in Turkey the year before, but that was Tommy Wright's first proper game in charge. It was like first competitive game, and the chat he gave us in the hotel before the game, we actually thought we could win over there. I mean, and for me to score that goal, I think it might have been St Johnstone's first away goal in a European competition, and the fact that we beat Rosenborg, who like maybe 5 years before I was watching Rosenborg in the Champions League against Celtic, and we St Johnstone had gone over there, and the fans had made the trip, and they loved it, and that was the start of the season that we won the Scottish Cup, and it just from the first game to the last game, it was just a brilliant season.
Who stood out in that team for you, mate? Obviously, alongside yourself and that. What players can you pick that really made that a really good season?
Well, St Johnstone was just we had a right good spine of the team. I think the back four hardly ever changed. The goalie, Alan Mannis, Brian Easton, Ando, Dave Mackay, and then you had Chris Miller in the midfield and Stephen McLean up top. It's just that group of players. I think we started pretty much every week, and they were saying like that group of boys would dig anyone out for anything and not let you away with stuff. The standards that were set were just what they should be, in my opinion, and that spine of the team really drove us on.
But do you remember the Scottish Cup final itself? Is there any memories that always just replay in your head? Is it just mostly the final whistle knowing that you've won the cup?
I just I had a bit of a run-in with Big Shifty a few times, and I can just remember giving him some abuse and him giving me it back, but then him telling me he was going to get me after the game, things like that. It's what sticks out in my mind the most. But aye, I know I missed a chance. I should have scored in the cup final. Came off my shin. Things like that. But you don't really remember too much about it. It's just, and then the full time whistle, you just go mental with your mates.
Incredible, man. What kind of night out did you have that night?
It was brilliant. We were back to the stadium. There was a wee party at the stadium. Some of the boys went out, but I didn't go out. I was behaved myself, and then the next day we had the bus parade, the civic reception, and then we had the Player of the Year do at the stadium. So I think
You
we
win
had
it?
it home. We went home on Monday. No, no. Don't think I've ever won a Player of the Year. No, I did. Sorry, I did that when I went to Dumbarton. I got the Player of the Year. So
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. You were known for being a no nonsense centre half. Was there an aspect to your game that you don't think you got enough credit for?
no, I mean that's what I was. I was a no nonsense centre half. I headed it, I kicked it, I passed the ball to the guy that was in front of me. When Mixu came into Kilmarnock that season is probably the only season you could say I was a ball playing centre half because of the way he drilled the team and the way that he got his playing. That I was confident to take the ball because I knew I had options. I knew where to do, where people were running, what we were doing, and that season we played really good football and finished quite high up the league. So, but I don't have any problems with people calling me that because that's what I was and that's what I was good at. So nowadays you don't get that. Everyone's got to be a ball player. Everyone's got to be that. But you miss the defenders that will throw their body on the line and head the ball and kick it and just hate losing goals. That's what you need in your team.
And that's what fans miss as well, mate. We miss, like, you know, guys like yourself that could just put yourself in front of a train. Just that's what it is. You know, there's too many football players these days. That's what we talk about, and all, man. All we need is more about football in this podcast, actually, innit?
I
You know.
I've broke my nose. I don't know how many times. I've bust my eye, my head, my eyes, everything. I went to when I went to Dumbarton, the first game I played with Dumbarton, the guy I was playing with centre half got a bang in his head. He's like, "Am I bleeding? Am I bleeding?" I was like, "Doesn't fucking matter. Just go on, man." It's like he spent
Right.
5 minutes wondering if he was bleeding. It's like, if you're bleeding, we'll deal with it. But just
But you do
come on.
see a lot of that when they touch their nose or they're heating and they
they're
look at their
doing
hand and say, like, nobody touched you, get up.
Aye, it's just
It's defenders forget to defend sometimes, and it's all about the image and all that stuff. Like, oh, I might be getting like a boot sponsorship, so I need to be looking all right for the photos and all that stuff. But you need to have an old school defender. I always think that you need to be
Well, for me, right, like obviously, I'm a Celtic fan, right? So for me, see, Taverny Carter Vickers is one of the best centre halves I've seen at Celtic, and he's no a ball playing, amazing passer of the ball. He's just a guy who defends properly. You know what I mean? Puts himself in front of the ball, and tackles properly, and just he's solid, exactly, mate. And that's all you want. That's all you want. You don't want a fucking defender making 20-yard passes all the time.
What about the OG against Dundee? Do you want that?
Oh, shut
Get
up.
him out, man. Get him out. He's at it.
You agree with that though, Fraser? You know what I mean? Like, the proper defenders are the ones who are just stop the ball from in the back of the net.
Aye, that's your job. That's what you're paid to do. You're not paid to score goals or whatever your pass completion is. It's win the ball back and give it to the guys that are paid to play, and they should be shown to you to give you the angles as soon as you win it. There you go. Thanks. That's me. Let's organise the defence. That was it. That's what you did.
Sorry, foreign managers, but in it, because they ended up making midfielders defenders so they could play the ball out for defence.
Well, it's Guardiola, wasn't it? It's Guardiola.
Guardiola.
If you can't, if you don't have the players to do it, I mean, yeah, when Mixu came into Kilmarnock, he coached us and he took us 3 months we went away to Hearts at Tynecastle and beat them 3-0. That's when it all clicked. But if you've not got that time, you look at Russell Martin there, he's always going to play this. No, you need to win games of football. So you get sacked because you didn't win games of football. It's not about your style of play, it's win games of football.
But that's a modern manager, innit? He wants to play his way rather than win.
games.
Aye, it's all about their
It's
philosophy.
all about how his team looks to win. Will they win 1-0, but they've been battered all game?
I firmly believe that. I firmly believe it's coming back, though. I believe old school is coming back. I believe that people are sick of it. I think, yeah.
4-4-2, bring it back.
There's a lot of teams doing it.
I think people are just getting fed up with it, man. Getting fed up with this pass. You know, even up here, look at St Mirren, and Chris Sutton came out and criticised Stephen Robinson the other week for the way he plays it up front. He plays the ball up top. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with putting the ball at the park and getting your strikers to get on the ball? You know what I mean? And I do believe that's coming back, man.
Aye, the long throws are back. And it's just, I'd love to see 4-4-2 against 4-4-2 with two, the big guy and a wee guy and wingers and just going.
When are you going to become a manager then and get it started?
Oh, I tried the assistant manager stuff and it sickened me.
Aye. You're enjoying it, huh?
No, it's like you get the sack, fair enough, you're going to get the sack, but the guys that are getting the sack don't have a clue about football or just they've not been involved in football side. But as I say, it's about winning games, and if you don't win the games, then you're going to get the sack. So, maybe one day I'll get back in it.
I think you should, mate, because we spoke about this as well, like how guys like yourself, mate, who have been through it all, you've got all that experience and stuff, and it's a shame to see you knowing the game to pass on that knowledge. I know that you're saying about, the guys upstairs and all that, and but I'm telling you now that there's a lot of young guys out there who would see your advice as totally invaluable.
Definitely.
I think if the opportunity comes along, then I'd definitely look at it, and you need to pass these things on, I suppose, and things you've learned. But the tricks of the trade that I learn now, you wouldn't get away with it. The dark arts.
Like I said earlier, I mean, you played when football was good, and that. What strikers can you pinpoint that were particularly difficult to come up against? Do you remember?
Boydie was always seemed to score. Scott McDonald was just busy and a nuisance. When I played at Stranraer, we played Celtic in the Scottish Cup and played against Larson, Sutton and Hartson in that game, and just Sutton and Hartson battered you, and Larson just ran about and scored the goals with wee Moravcik just floating about and using both feet anywhere on the pitch and things like that. Towards the end, guys, Big Tomo at St Mirren was a handful. It's the bigger guys. I always struggled against smaller, nippy strikers. I could handle myself. It was a big striker, but any small, like Scott McDonald was always tough for me. Kenny Miller was tough because he was small and quick.
What about Scotland, mate? How did you never get a call up for that? I mean, that's, to me, obviously you should have been. You won a Scottish Cup and all that. Was there ever a possibility of that happening?
No, never. There was, when I went to Kilmarnock and started getting in the Kilmarnock team, there was talk of maybe getting a B call up when it was the B internationals back in the day, but nah. I think Scotland's teams are usually quite set, and you see the same guys getting picked every week, and so I don't think it would ever have managed. Even if I'd made it into a squad, I don't think I'd have played at all. So
They're not one of my pet hates, though, isn't it? Corey, we talk about that, and like Scotland manager, how he's just picking the same players all the time.
Should be going.
It depends what level you play at, not even if you're in the team or not. Man, it's always been the same.
Yeah, that's only fun. Sorry, you go.
I just think for international football, I think you should be playing every week at a team. And no picking guys. I mean, look at the goalie situation we've got at Scotland. 3 goals. Scott Bain's the only goalie that's playing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but is he going to play him?
No.
Craig Gordon. all
Aye.
day, innit? Just,
Aye.
but it's like you get that Tommy Conway who was getting called up by Bristol, and I'm like, I've never heard of this boy. And you've got Lawrence Shankland scoring for fun up here, and that's him just getting back in the squad. It just doesn't
know.
make any sense
I'd
to
love
me.
a report. I don't know if a reporter's actually asked Steve Clark that. Why did you deem it all right to no pick Lawrence Shankland last month? Yet this month you think it's all right. What's the script with it?
I know. I don't get it. It should be going by form always.
Aye, definitely. I think if you're not playing every week, I think down in England that's the way they're starting to go now. He's saying that is it Foden and the three of them. Foden, Bellingham, and Harry Kane can't play together. They're not going to play together, so at least he's making the hard decision and taking it.
You get them getting players for like Crystal Palace and all that as well, because I think St Mirren players or Hibs players or whatever, they might not be the best standard, but like you said, they're playing week in, week out, and they're performing well up here, so why not give them a chance and see how they get on? Especially the friendlies.
Aye, definitely. I mean, I think to reward guys that are playing every week and their team's doing well, I think it's a good reward for players and maybe keeps them going a wee bit rather than you're never going to get in the squad and it's the same guys are in every week, every time.
You say that about the goalie situation, but see the striker situation, Shankland's the only striker that plays every week.
Aye.
Because I checked at the last internationals and Jay Adams comes off the bench with 15 minutes to go. Lyndon Dykes get 5-7 minutes at the end. Shankland is
Does Hurst not play for Ipswich?
Aye, but no all the time. Because they swap it about. They've got a couple, I think. And Hurst doesn't cut out for Scotland. Jamie Shankland's a better striker than Hurst.
Oh, I know, mate. I know. But that's what we're talking about, because Hurst is playing an English Championship. I'd say he's more authority than Shankland. Well, obviously, because Shankland didn't get in his squad last time and he did. I mean,
it's just maybe he's got it in his head the way he's playing, how he's going to go and what they're going to bring. But I just think if you're playing international football, you should be playing every week.
Definitely, mate. You spoke about it earlier, mate. You played at Dumbarton for a wee while. How did you enjoy your time there?
Aye, it was good. It was just going back to part-time football. My body had started to chuck it. I was getting injections on my hip and things, and I was like, part-time might help prolong it a wee bit. So it was good. I played with Stevie Aitken at Stranraer when we started out. He was part of the team that got promotions, and I was just to go in, have a bit of experience and help them in the championship.
Did you start your coaching roughly about Dumbarton time? Like start getting your badges or even get involved in Dumbarton?
Yeah, that's exactly when I started my badges. The union the SFA used to do the courses on the international breaks when that happened. So I got my B licence then, and then I got my A licence a couple of years later because of COVID. COVID kind of scuppered that and a hip replacement.
Obviously, you're no in coaching at the moment, mate. What are you up to these days?
Aye, working for Newton, property factor, property manager. So just working away doing that and enjoying myself.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. So, aye, mate, look, we do this at the end of every podcast. I don't know if you've checked this out, but could you name your top 3 players that you played alongside the most?
Oh,
It's always the same reaction, like, oh, fuck.
I know, man. They don't like this question, actually, don't they?
Eremenko at Kilmarnock.
Where is he? Oh, man, he's not anywhere.
He's not anywhere.
He's not anywhere.
How was he to play with?
He was brilliant. He was just a madman, though. He'd obviously came from abroad, and he was on decent money for the club he'd came. I can't remember where he was, and we were organising the Christmas night out, and I was getting the money in for it, and I was like, "Look, sir, 50 quid for the Christmas night out. We're going to Liverpool. Just need a deposit." And he goes in to his wallet. He pulls out this wad of notes, and he gave me 200, and he went, "Keep that. I'm going to Dubai."
Fair enough.
Oh, what a slap in the face that is, man.
Aye.
Sicilian.
That's crazy. But yeah, I thought there was going to be a chance that Celtic or Rangers would probably have tried to go for him because he was
I
some
think he
player.
was technically good, but he wasn't the quickest, was he, Fraser? He wasn't like the most
No,
mobile.
but he didn't need to be. So
Yeah.
you couldn't get the ball off him. He was clever with it. His passing between the lines was brilliant. He got nominated for the Player of the Year that year at the PFA, so he did well. He was really good.
I was like Moravchik-esque.
Yeah.
He didn't need speed. He
Yeah.
just had the passing and
Aye.
all that. Aye.
Some of his passing, the goals he set up, just splitting the defence was brilliant.
But he's not on your list, mate, 'cause he wasn't here that long though, was he?
He was in and out. He was maybe in this one season, then away. He came back to Kilmarnock a couple of times, I think.
Aye. Aye.
No, but he's not even in the. I've got your top 24 here, but he's not in that.
Nah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
24.
Craig
close.
Bryson.
Greg Bryson, I've seen him somewhere. Where's he? He's 9th. You played alongside him 96 times. Number 1, you played alongside 151 times. And he was a centre mid. So as a centre mid, number 1, a left back and a right back.
James Fowler.
Yep, he's number 1, mate. He's 151 times.
Gary Hay.
Yep, left back 129 times. And then a right back.
Jamie Hamill.
No, he's 6th.
Dave Mackay.
That's the one, mate. That's the one. 118 times alongside Dave.
Aye.
I think that was the quickest one we've had so far, Jamie. That question.
I think the positions helped me.
Nah,
That's the first time you gave clues out like that.
no.
You've been on the pitch room before. That's my
Struggle
clue.
with it. I don't understand how like you've not been on transfer market and know every single stat that you've ever done, man. Because that's what I'd be doing.
Just all the time. I love this.
Last question, mate, before we let you go. If you were to be the coach of a team, 5-a-side team, of the players you played alongside, who would be in your 5-a-side team?
Right. Go for a goalie. Like a big Xander Clark could probably be a good 5-a-side goalie because he could just lie on his side and he'd fill the goal because he's that tall.
That's a couple of shots we've had for him, man.
Yeah, probably Alan Mannis for St Johnstone in goal.
I remember him.
Stephen Anderson.
Had to put him in, didn't
Aye, had to. You fucking text me moaning at me if I didn't. Probably Dave Mackay as well in the defence. Eremenko and Meditao in the midfield, and Boydie up top for the goals.
That's 6 players, man. That's you. You're good.
Is it?
Aye.
I would get rid of Dave Mackay then.
He's on the bench.
He's your assistant.
Yeah, there you are.
Fraser, it's honestly been an absolute pleasure talking to you, mate. Thanks for taking us through your career and coming on and having a wee chat with us, mate. Really appreciate it, and all the best for the future. And I really do hope that you get back into the coaching, man, and show all the young guys exactly all the experience you've got, my man.
Aye,
How is it all, guys? Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
mate.
very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.